What is going on, you wonderful thought-having people you? As always, I'm Jake from Give It Thought, and let's jump right into it. It looks like Ubisoft will stop charging for a certain kind of DLC. Well, finally some good news. It seems like all the news lately that has been coming out is just depressing. But I'm getting ahead of myself here, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. Ubisoft's VP of Live Operations laid out her plans to engage players for a longer period of time after a game's release, which according to her would be between 5 and 10 years. I don't know how that will exactly translate to the structure of games, but Ubisoft has said that they want to move away from scripted games, which is something I'll probably be talking about in Friday's show, so stay tuned for that. But back to the present story, Ubisoft are now saying they want to be very careful when it comes to monetization because they want to make sure we find a right balance when it comes to adding to game experiences. So what exactly does Ubisoft mean by this? What I'm asking is, what kinds of DLC will now be free? Well, don't get your hopes up too much. Before I try to specify what I mean by that, let's look at the analogy the Ubisoft VP of Live Marketing used in that interview. And I'm sorry I'm not saying her name, but there's a few things I will admit I can't do, and pronouncing that name is one of them. But the analogy she used to explain their new position on DLC was this. If I take an analogy of an amusement park, you can go through all the rides, but then you can also go to the shop and buy some food or merchandise or whatever. Regardless of what you spend money on in the shop, you're still part of the whole experience. So what she is saying here is that you can pay to enter an amusement park, which is analogous to the base game, and ride all the rides you want. But if you want bonuses like snacks or drinks, you have to pay for those. That is what she is comparing to DLC, or smaller pieces at least. While I don't think the analogy is a good one because of reasons I will get to in a moment, but the kind of DLC Ubisoft seems to be happy to give away are things like map packs for their multiplayer games. And as you know, Ubisoft are far from leading the charge on this. I would say EA maybe started this trend with Battlefield 1 and are continuing it with Titanfall 2. I think Halo 5 may have actually began this before them though, so correct me if I'm wrong. Whatever the case, this strategy seeks to do two things. One, to keep players engaged for longer periods of time because they won't be charged for things like map packs, as previously detailed. And two, since players will be engaged, companies can sell a lot more of the smaller stuff, like weapon packs, costumes, and stuff like charms in the case of Ubisoft's own Rainbow Six Siege. I just wanted everyone to know that Ubisoft is not being benevolent here. This is all part of a larger plan to separate you from your money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's what businesses do. And since we choose to participate in capitalism, we have to deal with what looks like greed from time to time. Even the Ubisoft executive says that in the interview. Specifically, she says, it does have the same commercial impact as charging for that DLC. So Ubisoft isn't losing money for gamers in any way. Or they aren't planning to at least. But back to that analogy, the reason it does not service this plan is because not all DLC is applicable to that system. What about large pieces of story-driven DLC? Does that count as new rides coming into the park? And in that case, why should we have to pay for those? And how do map packs not qualify as what you would call souvenirs? What I'm trying to illustrate with those questions is that there is no real plan here. Ubisoft is just attempting to seem good in the press right now. Over the next couple of days, I'm sure the big media outlets will pick this story up, and every time the headline will read, Ubisoft is not charging for DLC anymore, or some variation on that. That will of course lead to a better public perception for the company. Really, this is a marketing move, and I want to inform everyone about this kind of thing. A lot of large outlets simply can't do that because they are likely sponsored in some way by Ubisoft. And that's what you'll get with me, an unbiased take on this kind of news. But you know why I have this channel in the first place. It is to talk with everyone about these stories. So be sure to tell me what you think about Ubisoft's plan down below. Are you buying it, or do you see the cracks in this facade? I'd love to know what you think about this. But I think that's where I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed this video, you know what you have to do. Hit that like button for me, and if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button too? I put out a new video every single day, and if you want to be caught up on all the latest gaming news, the best way to do that is to be under a subscription. And if you missed yesterday's video, it's all about Final Fantasy 15 and how it's still getting that day 1 patch after that 2-month delay that was supposed to circumvent that. So go check that video out if you're interested in that game. But I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.